Sunday trend, best value for Union in 2 months. Good morning, folks. It's Sunday, which means it's time for the brunch. And what's on the menu today? We have a big pot of Union, the German Conservative Party, surging to its best value in 2 months. That's right, the Conservatives are riding high again after their successful local election campaign last week. According to this poll, which was conducted by the polling company CRS and published in the T-Online, the Union is indeed at its best value in 2 months. They would get 28% of the vote if the election were held today. That's up 2 points compared to the previous week and the best results since the beginning of June. And just for comparison, here are the other parties. You can see the Greens are on 15, the SPD on 14, the same for the Free Democrats, and the Left Party on 9. So the Union is really clearly leading the pack. What's behind this surge? Well, the Conservatives are benefiting from the fact that the other parties are kind of running out of steam. The SPD is still riding high from their recent successes, but they've lost some momentum. The Greens are also benefiting from being the government, but they're kind of stuck in the 15–16% range for the past couple of weeks now. And then you have the Free Democrats, who are really not performing all that well, especially in comparison to their recent successes in local elections. And then the Left Party, well, they're just running on fumes at this point. So the Union is clearly the party of the moment. But what does this mean for the national election? Well, this poll has some good news and some bad news for the Conservatives. Let's start with the good news. If we take a look at the two-party vote, which basically only includes the big parties, the Union is clearly winning. They're getting 43% to the SPD's 28. That means the Conservatives would get a real boost in Parliament. Right now, they have 153 seats. With this result, they would get 217. That would make them the biggest party in Parliament and allow them to push through their agenda more easily. The bad news is that if we include all the parties in the Bundestag, not just the big two, then the Union is only getting 35.4%, which means they would actually lose seats. They would go down to 275. And if we apply the 5% clause, which says that smaller parties also need at least 5% of the vote to get into Parliament, then they would even lose another 10 seats and end up with 265. Now, this might sound dramatic, but remember, they would still be the biggest party in Parliament. Also, the 5% clause doesn't really apply to the Union because they read the Conservatives and they're likely to get more than 5%. But my point is the national election is still too close to call. And if you want to know who else is doing well in the polls, stay tuned for later today when we have a special guest on the show. Take care.